Hey everybody, what's going on? Greg here with Z21 Learning. And today we're going to talk about part 2 of our mugshot training series. Part 1, we talked about how to do mugshots that are animations. Today we're going to talk about mugshots that are stills. So the way that works is normally you'll get some sort of correspondence from the news department, and they're going to say something like, hey, I want this as a full screen, or I want this for EMPS, or put this in Camio. They basically all mean the same thing. They want to use this mugshot inside of a full screen that's designed just for mugshots. So if you're not quite sure what it is the news department's asking for, feel free to go hunt them down and go ahead and make sure you know what it is they want before you get started, because the last thing you want to do is do it wrong and then you have to redo it again. So in this case, I know what they want. I also want to make sure that they have told me the name of the individual as well as attach the picture. They've done that in this case, so I'm good to go. I know the name is Frank Hank and they've attached the picture. And Frank Hank has seen better days. Let's go ahead and right click on the picture. We're going to copy it. Inside of Photoshop, I've set up a Photoshop action to go ahead and generate a new canvas for me to work on. The way I can do that is I can just click on the little actions button over here, and then I've got this one for mugshots. If your actions panel doesn't look like this, just come up to the 3 lines here in the top right. Make sure you're selected in button mode. If you're not seeing the actions button icon over here in the panel, just go up to Window and select Actions. So I'm going to go ahead and press some mugshots, and it creates this new canvas with these 2 guides in there. So I'm going to go ahead and paste my picture in there. So I'm going to go up to Edit, Paste. And this actually looks pretty good right now. It's centered almost proportionally between these 2 guides. But one thing I do want to do is I don't want to have all this blank space here on the sides. And the reason why is anytime you upload a picture into Asset Manager, you want to make sure that it fills the screen as best as possible. There's a couple times where you don't need to worry about that. Unfortunately, this is one of those times where you do need to worry about that, because occasionally a news producer or reporter might use this mugshot for something like the anchor monitor or for the wall shot. And if you don't have anything over here on the sides, it's just going to show up as being black. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm actually going to duplicate this image, and I'm going to use the bottom layer as the background. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go up to Layer, and I'm going to do Duplicate Layer. So I'm going to call this just background. You can literally leave that blank if you want. Press OK. And then over here in my layers panel, we see I have now a layer called background. So I'm going to drag and drop that below. And we need to scale this one up. So I can go over to Edit, Transform, Scale. And I'm going to hold down the Shift and the Alt button. That's going to be Shift Option if you're using a Mac. And I'm going to click a corner up here. The reason why I like to use Shift Alt is it goes ahead and scales the picture up proportionally from the center outwards. If I don't hold down those buttons, here's what happens. I just kind of scale it up, and one, it loses the image ratio. You can tell I make it wider or skinnier, as well as it's not actually filling the entire screen. So let me undo that, and let's scale that up again. So Edit, Transform, Scale. Hold down Shift and Alt or Shift Option on a Mac, and we're going to scale it up so that it fills the rest of the screen. Looks pretty good. You can press Return or Enter, or you can come up here to the little check mark to go ahead and confirm your transformation. So now I need to go ahead and blur this background image. So I'm going to go over to Filter, go to Blur. I'm going to use a Gaussian blur in this case. That looks pretty good. I want to darken this background image a little bit. So I can go over to my Adjustments panel, and if you're not seeing that, just go up to Window and click Adjustments. And then the one I'm going to use is probably this Brightness Contrast. And I'm just going to use the Legacy version here. Bring the contrast down and darken it a little bit. That looks pretty good. So at this point, we're almost done. But there's one thing that we're going to attach that's kind of the last step, and that's XMP metadata. You're probably going, XMP what? Metadata basically is when you attach text to an image. And I'm not talking like text that you just type on the image itself. I mean text that is they're like keywords or author information, or who took the picture, who has the copyright status of the picture, things like that. And the reason why we want to attach this metadata here is so that when the producer drags and drops this picture on the image field, it's automatically going to autofill the first and last name of the mugshot. Let me show you what I mean. So over here in EMPS, inside the Lucy plugin, I'm going to go ahead and search for the mugshots full screen. So type in mug, there it is. Then I'm going to go over to images. I'm going to type in for mug. For the record, these are all just fake mugs. These are mugs I just created, so these aren't real mugshots. They're real people. Well, I mean, they're real people, but that's not really Danny Neutron. So anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop Danny here on the headshot 1 field. And we notice that it automatically auto-populates both his first and last name here in the image field. And I can do that, for each and every one of these, so that it's one less step for the producer to worry about. That's kind of why we do it. So to do that, I'm going to go up to File and go to File Info. And this opens up the XMP window. We're going to stay inside the basic one. And the two text fields that we're going to be concerned about are author and author title. Think of author as the person's first name and author title as the person's last name. So in this case, I'm going to just type in Frank, and I'm going to do Hank. And that's just a fake name also. That's just one I made up, so if that's your real name, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to offend you. Go over to File and do Save As. We're going to save this in the raw media folder. And I'm just going to call this Frank Hank mug. You can save this in your temp folder or whatever. I'm going to change the format from being Photoshop to .tiff. I'm going to save. And you do want to make sure that Save Image Pyramid is checked. The rest of these settings look fine, so I'm going to press OK. And now I'm ready to upload this picture into Asset Manager. So I'm going to come over to your Asset Manager, and I'm going to toggle open the KZ context here. And I'm going to go to the Mugshots folder, press the little green up arrow. I'm going to choose the file. Let's see, Frank Hank, there he is. So title, I'm just going to type in Frank Hank, mug. If you wanted to copy and paste the title into all the rest of the fields here, you can totally do that. I like to just fill out some of these. Press OK. And voila, Frank Hank has been uploaded. At this point, you just write back to the news producer or whoever asked for the picture, just letting them know, hey, here's what it's called and here's where it's located. And then what the producer would do is they would come over here to Lucy plugin inside EMPS. They would find the Mugshots folder, and they would find good old Frank, drag and drop his headshot in there, and voila, it all populates the text field. So that's how you do a mug still. Actually, let me also show you one thing else I forgot about. So I mentioned earlier kind of why we wanted to have the image background with the mugshots. This is one case why, because you'll notice that his individual picture itself doesn't fill the entire frame, but with the background here it does. But let's say they use this picture for maybe a wall shot or something. You'll notice that it really does a good job filling out the rest of this background, rather than just having this be black or white or some other color. It kind of gives it it just does a nice job kind of filling the whole screen. So that concludes our series on doing mugshots. We've talked about how to do animated mugshots. We've talked about how to do mug stills. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to comment below or shoot me an email. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys later.